Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Enjoying Retirement. Today we're going to do the North Cadillac Mountain Ridge Trail. It's in Acadia National Park, and here we just flew into Maine, and there's the trailhead. We're going to do a quick flyby. You can kind of see the trail there right in the middle. As we go up, it reaches a point where it parallels the road you can take up there if you make a reservation. And then we're going to come down here and see the peak. And then we'll fly back out to give you an idea of where this is in relation to the whole island area of Acadia. It's a beautiful hike, as you'll see in a minute. So here we are. We're on the trailhead itself. We're about 220 feet of elevation here. By the time we get to the peak, we'll be at 1530, making it a elevation change of about 1,310 feet. It's a 2.2 mile hike up, and we come back on the same trail. Once again, it's a beautiful hike. As you hike up, what you have to do to get the best views, though, is keep looking to your left or to look backwards, because that's actually the better views than looking forward. But it was a beautiful day. Now, we went up there in early June. In fact, it was my birthday. Turned 63 this day. My wife wanted to get up there to see the sunrise. She had read that seeing the sunrise on Cadillac Mountain is a special treat, and from October through March, it is the first place in the U.S. that the sun actually touches. Well, when I pointed out that sunrise in early June up there is about 4:45 in the morning, and for us to get up, get to the trailhead, and then hike in a unknown area in the dark, we'd have to leave the hotel at about 2 o'clock in the morning. At that point, we both kind of agreed that perhaps sunrise was overrated. Nonetheless, we thoroughly enjoyed it. We got up there about 8 o'clock in the morning. The temperature was just beautiful. By the time I got back, it was a little bit warmer. So I do recommend that you go early for a couple of reasons. First is the weather. If you have a good day, it's going to be cooler walking up and back. The other is there is only about 12 spaces in the parking lot at the trailhead, and it's first come, first serve. Yeah, make sure you Google where the trailhead is. It's not well marked. There was that pole that you saw at the beginning, but when you're driving, you don't actually see that. So just make sure you Google it and get there plenty early so that you can get yourself a parking spot. The other way to do it is there is a park shuttle, and there's a shuttle stop not too far away if you need to take that to get there. One thing that struck me about Cadillac Mountain is it just looks so much like the West to me. The granite, the pine and fir trees, even what I think are birch, but remind me of quaking aspen. And in fact, the latitude of this mountain and Acadia in general is about the same latitude as the mid-coastal Oregon. And they just remind me very much of the same type of thing, the pine forest coming down to the ocean. So I enjoyed it. And as I mentioned before, hiking in the Sierras, hiking in the granite, pine trees, it just helps me think about being out west again. When you get there, you'll hike about halfway, and you're going to get to an area that I call chutes and ladders. That's because for the first part of it, you're going to be walking up rocks as though you're in a chute. You're not really, but it just seems that way. And then for the second half of it, you are walking up granite stairs that they kindly put in there. That's probably the most strenuous part of the hike, but that's okay. Just keep in mind, the higher you go, the better the views become. And we'll just keep taking a look at there. Now, a little bit of history. Cadillac Mountain was originally named Green Mountain, but in 1918, They thought it needed something a little bit sexier than Green Mountain. So they went back and they named it after the early French explorer, Antoine Lomé de la Motte sur de Cadillac. Thankfully, they just called it Cadillac Mountain. It's the highest point within 25 miles of the coast of anywhere between Mexico and Nova Scotia, Canada. So it's got that little claim to fame. My wife wanted to make sure I pointed out two things to you. First was she was sniffling the whole way, and she wanted me to point out the pine pollen. As I said, it's early June, and there was quite a bit of yellow pine pollen all over everything. But as far as I'm concerned, these views are just gorgeous. The other thing she wanted to make sure I pointed out was all along the trail, it is just covered with wild blueberry plants. So I imagine the right time of year, you can really get some nice pickings on the way up. There you can see the little blue blaze on the rock. So when you are walking over the rocks in other areas, you can always see the trail. There's cairns along the way, but the blue blazes are very well laid out and easy to spot. Okay, now we've made it near the top. This is the area where, as I said, if you make a reservation with the Park Service, you can actually drive up here. And there were quite a few people who did that. But once you're here, you still have a little bit of walking to go before you actually get to what they call the peak. And here is going to be the geological survey marker that designates the peak. So you head over to the bathrooms, go up the gravel path a little bit. Once you get up there, you start looking around, shaking your head. Well, it turns out this particular little rock right there is the peak, and there's the marker to prove it. It's probably the saddest little peak I've ever climbed. But that's just the peak itself. The views from it, here it is. This is from the peak, nothing special. But walk down a little bit of ways, get over towards what we used to call the military crest, and you start getting very good views of the area. But the best views at the top, or if you go back to the parking area and walk down the ridge a little bit, and that's where they have all the tourist information set up. That's where most of the people who drive up there park and then walk out to read the signs and take in the views. There's two main plaques there, one showing and identifying what the terrain and the islands are as you look off to the east, and the other one as you look off to the south and west. Took us a little under 2 hours to get up there, and then about an hour and 40 minutes or so to walk back. I'm not going to show you the walk back. It's pretty much the same thing, except you have better views. Once again, I recommend you get there early so that you get a parking spot, and especially if you're there in the summer, take advantage of the cooler temperatures. Here we are back at the trailhead. If you remember at the beginning, there was only 2 cars there. Now there's 12, and it's completely full. And no room for anybody else. Well, that's it. And that's how I spent my birthday this year. I can't think of a better way to have done it. And I am enjoying retirement.